Shalom. All praises to Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Double honors to the man that I learned this truth from. Some with the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Bashem Yahushai. Peace, blessings, salutations to the hopeful elect. And just shedding a little light on what's been going on with the rising escalations over there in the Middle East. Because this video is a few days old. Because this, as of now, man, it's been well over, if I'm not mistaken, 1,500 rockets that have been shot forth, between these nations, these heathens that are currently fighting over our land that doesn't belong to them. All right, they're fighting over a land that doesn't belong to them in the first place. But nevertheless, this is why Yahweh Shemel Shai, man, he's going to clear that whole area out, anyways. So hey, man, because you got people talking about praying for Israel. You got rallies going on in favor of the Palestinians, and the hell with both those nations, man. The hell with all those nations in that area, man. The hell with them all, so pretty much let them duke it out. But nevertheless, like I said, with the rising escalations, man, because like I said, tensions are rising over there, man. In the Lord's will, Yahweh Shemel Sharatazah, things don't ease up. And as it's looking, from what it looks like, man, things aren't going to ease up no time soon. All right, because now not Russia, but Iran, they're starting to, get active. They're starting to be activated a little bit. America and Israel, they're all pretty much teaming up to fight against, I think, something. Iran came up with some type of I forgot what it was, man. I think it was dealing with some type of missiles or something along that nature. But basically, man, Iran is like I said, they're starting to get activated, and Israel and America, they are in talks to pretty much team up together to fight against basically Iran's weapon, a new type of weapon that they're coming up with, or whatever the case may be. All right, and like it's been said before, because hey, when Israel and Iran, when they start going at it, man, hey, expect the big dogs, man, the major players to get into play. Talking about America and Russia, and of course knowing that Russia, they're the main because once Russia gets involved, man, NATO, you're gonna have NATO get involved inside with America, because like I said before, man, NATO was originally created to basically fight against Russia, because you got people that think that people think that NATO is a part of what was it? Because people they were mistaken NATO, because when you read in Revelations the 13th chapter, and it talks about the beast, pretty much going into, because it talks about that womb, that deadly womb that was healed, talking about the Roman Empire, and once it fell, all right, it came back. You read about the Treaty of Rome that was created in 1957, all right, and that's how that's how that womb, that deadly womb, was healed. That's how Rome basically was reincarnated, so to say. All right, by that treaty act, the Treaty of Rome, all right, which was the because the beast being EU and NATO and the EU, all right, which again, that was they were established, these nations, that came together to basically, basically prevent Russia from, um, being the world superpower that it could have been. But nevertheless, that it had to play out that way because a lot of things, a lot of prophecies had to play out before Russia could, before Yahweh Shemel Shai allowed Russia to, um, come up into power, so to say. Well, not come into power, but because like I was saying, Russia, they're the they're going to be one of the main players to completely obliterating this place. Talking about America, all right. Russia plays a major part in that, all right. But nevertheless, man, dealing with these small proxy wars that are going on right now, that's why I said paying attention to what's going on in the Middle East, all right, with all this escalations with Israel and Palestine, all right. Because one thing is going to lead to another, man, and again, nevertheless, ultimately Yahweh Shemel Shai is going to wipe that whole land out, all right, because either way, man, like I said, these nations fighting for a land that's not theirs in the first place, all right. And because this guy Benjamin Netanyahu, he's basically, this guy is basically trying to, because those Israelis, man, they're trying to play victim. Like I said, because you got a lot of people that are pray for Israel and so on and so forth, when they're the ones that started all this. Because when it comes to this, when it comes to those Amalekites, man, they're rats. And just like any rat, man, this sneaky, man, you gotta watch them. You gotta watch it. All right. And again, because dealing with those Amalekites, man, they're sneaky as hell, man. Because like I said, pretty much they're the ones that started all this, but they're trying to play victim. All right. But nevertheless, I'm gonna read this real quick. Enough rambling. In Job chapter 15. Job chapter 15 and verse 34. It says, "For the congregation of hypocrites shall be desolate, and fire shall consume the tabernacles of bribery." All right. And again, dealing with these hypocrites, all right, because like I said, they're playing a victim, all right, trying to point the blame and whatnot, when in reality, man, for the most part, or at least from my understanding, they started all of this, all right. Like I said, from my understanding, this whole escalation, tensions or whatnot, man, basically, man, like I said, to my understanding, this whole thing started with rising tension and escalation stuff. This all started because, those Israelis, all right, they basically, man, started forcefully evicting some of the Palestinians, some of the families and stuff in certain parts of over there in the land, right? That's pretty much what started this whole thing. All right, but like I said, because they're a bunch of hypocrites, because they're trying to play the victim. All right. But nevertheless, man, this is how those Amalekites, man, those people that are calling themselves the Israelites. All right, this is one indicator to show that they're not the real chosen people of Yahweh Shemel Shai. Because if the true people were actually in the land, all right, when you read verse Isaiah chapter 60 and verse 18, it says, "Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders, but thou shalt call thy walls salvation, and thy gates praise." So you see, if the real inhabitants were in that land, all right, then hey, there would be peace. You wouldn't be hearing about war going on, all right. You know, you wouldn't be hearing about all these rockets being shot forth, so on and so forth. There will be peace in the land. All right. You know, you wouldn't hear about violence, you know, because, hey, man, them Israelis, man, well, both nations, for the most part, you know, them firing rockets back and forth at one another, you know, causing casualties and whatnot. But them Israelis, man, like I said, you know, they're sneaky devils, man. They're, with all these videos that have been surfacing, you know, which I'm not even gonna, you know, I'm gonna just keep it at a minimum, because, you know, when those, you know, 1948ers, you know, when you talk about them and certain things and certain topics, they get extra sensitive, and this is how videos get blocked and whatnot, channels get deleted and terminated and stuff. All right, but nevertheless, man, dealing with those rats, man, you know, they're sneaky, you know, because they're talking about, you know, they're basically, man, they're justifying, you know, their actions and whatnot, you know, because then, man, like I said, it's coming out, man. Certain videos are coming out, and like I said, I'm gonna just keep it to that. All right, but certain, you know, some videos are surfacing and coming out. All right, you know, which is kind of what prompted me to do this video. You know, because like I said, man, them Israelis, man, they're playing a victim. All right, but nevertheless, they're a bunch of hypocrites, because they started all of this. You know, but nevertheless, again, I'm gonna read Isaiah 16:18 again. It says, "Violence shall no more be heard in thy land, wasting nor destruction within thy borders." So again, if the real Israelites, if the real people of Yahweh Shem Yahushua were in the land, there will be no violence. You wouldn't be hearing about what we're hearing about right now, with all this tension, rockets being shot forth or whatnot. All right, this guy Benjamin Netanyahu said that he's basically, man, it's not gonna stop. All right. You know, that's what he said. You know, basically, man, the Rockets, man, they're not gonna stop doing their thing. And like I said, let it happen. All right, because one thing's gonna lead to another, and it's gonna be an all-out wars, man. All right, you know, this, like the scriptures say, the second will come past. You know, it's just you know, came to pass, and the third will cometh quickly. Roughly paraphrasing it. All right. So, hey, man, soon, man, this, like I said, this is going to be one thing is going to lead to another, man, and ultimately, Yahweh Shema Shai, ultimately, man, he's just going to wipe them all out. All right, clear all the inhabitants out of the land. All right, because the land is filthy, man. It's polluted. Over there in the Middle East, which is another indicator to show you that these are not the chosen people of Yahweh Shema Shai. All right, because I believe they're the only nation over there in the Middle East. They dealing with the mass gay parade, man. They have some of the biggest gay parades, if I'm not mistaken, in the world. All right. And like I was saying, over there in the Middle East, I think Israel is the only nation over there in the Middle East that does that, you know, that promotes that. All right. Which, again, is just more, you know, evidence that they're not the chosen people of Yahweh Shem Shai. All right. Because if you're, you know, calling yourself the chosen people of Yahweh Shem Shai, then you would, you know, keep the laws, man. You know, you would condemn that type of those type of activities that they promote. But I'm gonna read Amos chapter 1 and verse 3. It says, "Thus saith Yahweh, for three transgressions of Damascus, all right, over there, our land, all right, for three transgressions of Damascus, and for four, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they have threshed Gilead with threshing instruments of iron." All right, talking about the weapons and stuff like that, man. You know, because again, if the true inhabitants of the land, man, we're not going to need an army. We're not going to need weapons of mass destruction. We're not going to need none of that stuff. An iron dome system. We're not going to need none of that stuff. All right, we are going to be the weapons. All right, when we get those spiritual bodies, indestructible bodies, and the spiritual powers and stuff like that, man, we're not going to need the guns, tanks, and all the military. We're not going to need all that. We're going to be the cavalry, man. All right. But reading in verse 4, it says, "But I will send a fire unto the house of Hazael, which shall devour palaces of Benhadad. It says, I will break also the bar of Damascus and off cut off the inhabitant from the plain, even in him that holdeth the sceptre from the house of Eden, and the people of Syria shall go into captivity unto Kir, saith Yahweh. Reading on, it says, verse 6, Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Gaza, and for 4, all right, and that's, with the back and forth between Israel and with over there in Gaza, man, all right. It says, and for 4, I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they carried away captive the whole captivity to deliver them up to Edom. But I will send a fire on the wall of Gaza, which shall devour the palaces thereof. And I will cut off the inhabitant from Ashdod, and him that holdeth the sceptre from Ashkelon. And I will turn mine hand against Ekron, and the remnant of the Philistines shall perish. All right. It says, saith Yahweh power. Thus saith Yahweh, for 3 transgressions of Tyrus, and for 4 I will not turn away the punishment thereof, because they delivered up the whole captivity of Edom, and remembered not the brotherly covenant. All right. So basically, man, at the end of the day, like I was saying, Yahweh Shemel Shai, he's going this consuming fire, man. Again, those those ICBM missiles, because one thing will lead to another. There will be an all-out war. All right. Because I often talk about how America is going to be completely obliterated. All right. It's going to be left a complete desert, a complete wasteland. All right. But Israel as well, according to prophecy, Israel is going to be completely wiped off the map as well. But the only difference is America is never going to be established again. It's never going to be built back up. But you see, Israel, all right, when the dust settles, the heathens, man, they're going to build that place back up. Israel is going to get built back up, because that's going to be the hubcap. That's going to be what's the word? Center for command. All right. The center of command, man. That's going to be like the home base. All right. So that place that is going to be inhabited. It's going to be built back up by the heathens. All right. But nevertheless, as of right now, man, again, because hey, Yahweh Shemel Shah, man, he's gonna end up taking all those heathens out, man, because they destroyed our land, man. They're polluting our land. They've been fighting for our land, all right, for the longest, all right. And it just doesn't belong to them, all right. But I'm gonna read this as well in Isaiah 14, because when you go into the and I was planning on doing a video on this, but when you go into the Balfour Declaration, all right, they basically looked at that as the fulfillment of prophecy, all right, because it was always prophesied that the Israelites, man, they would come back into the land, so on and so forth, all right. But nevertheless, when you according to prophecy, when you read Isaiah 14:1, it says, for Yahweh will have mercy on Jacob, and will yet choose Israel, and set them in their own land, and the strangers shall be joined with them, and they shall cleave to the house of Jacob. All right. But the point being, it says, and set them in their own land. So you see, Yahweh Shemel Shai, you see, when Yahweh Shai shows up, all right, to take those filthy heathens out of our land, Yahweh Shai is going to be the one to put us and set us in our land. Not some declaration, not some piece of paper, all right. And that's why when you hear brothers refer to those Amalekites, you hear them refer to them as the 1948ers, because that's when if I'm not mistaken, the Balfour Declaration, all right, that's when it again, that's when those Amalekites basically settled in our land, and they considered that a fulfillment of prophecy. When again, I just read it here, Isaiah 14:1. All right, Yahweh Bashemel Shai is going to set us in our own. He's going to put us in our land. All right. You know, and I'm gonna get this as well. It's just more proof showing that, man. These people, man, they're not the people of Yahweh Shemel Shai, because again, once the real inhabitants of that land get put into the land, Revelation chapter 21 and just bear with me as I look for this. Or is it 21? Because it talks about how when the real inhabitants of the land are put back in the land, what I'm looking for is when it talks about how the streets, man, they're going to be paved with gold. All right. Let's see if I could just find that real quick. Revelation chapter 21 and verse 21, it says, and the 12 gates were 12 pearls. Every several gate was of one pearl, and the street of the city was pure gold, as it were transparent glass, man. So you see, man, because, hey, in our kingdom, hey, Israel, man, is going to be made with precious stones and stuff like that, man. Streets of gold, man. All right. And like transparent glass, you know, something out of, what's that movie, with Thor, you know, when you go to Asgard and, you know, they had the bridge, man, it was transparent, man. Hey, man, you see, that's where they get that concept from, man. They get it from the scriptures. All these movies and stuff, man, they get these concepts and stuff from the scriptures, man, from our records. All right. Because again, you know, the Bible is the Bible of our records, man. This is our history book. All right. And that land that they're currently fighting over, it doesn't belong to them, man. It belongs to us. All right. And more proof they're not the real inhabitants. All right. Again, when the real inhabitants are in the land, hey, the streets are going to be paved with gold, man. What do you have over there now, man? As of right now, man, Israel, man, the land of Israel is like a desert, man. It's just one big desert, you know. And you got concrete, man. See, all that shit's going to be done away with when they're taken out of the land, when they're taken out of the way. All that's going to be done away with. Because again, Israel will be completely obliterated, as well as America, but Israel will be built back up. All right. And hey, after that 1,000 years, man, when our kingdom is established, all right, you know, when Israel gets built back up, man, it's going to be one hell of a sight, man. It's going, hey, Israel's going, it's going to look like one big pearl, man, just beautiful, decked out with all type of precious stones and stuff, man. It's going to be beautiful. Can only imagine, right? But do you see that today? No. All right. Our land, man, it's like I said, it looks like a desert, man. It's filled with concrete, all right? You know, rockets being shot forth back at one another, man. You know, our land is being completely polluted right now. It's because of these hypocrites that are dwelling in our land, our habitation. All right? But nevertheless, man, because I kind of wanted to get into something else as well, but I don't want this to be too long-winded. So yeah, man. All right. You know, let those nations continue to duke it out, man. All right. Because again, one thing is going to lead to another, and ultimately, man, hey, when the dust settles, all right, Yahweh Shemel Shai, Yahweh Shai is going to put us back in our land, man. All right. You know, and that's going to be all she wrote. So, like I said, man, I'm probably going to do a part 2 because, like I said, there's something else I wanted to get into. But yeah, I'm going to just do a part 2, man. But hopefully this was edifying. We give all acknowledgement once again to Yahweh Shemel Shai. Double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. Yahweh Shemel Shai, Barakatham to the hopefully elect. And until next time, Lord's will, I say shalom.